Hey, my name is Bradley Sampson, and I'm a marching arts designer. I've been doing these pacing maps at Grand Nationals for a handful of years, and I just find them really interesting. It's a great opportunity to take notes on a whole bunch of different bands. And so this year, I thought I'd just share some of them. I just finished up these maps, pacing maps from Grand Nationals finals this last weekend. So here is my pacing maps for all of the finalists, and then I think there's like 10 other bands that I grabbed. And so you can kind of see the map. I just have chosen a handful of different ways to break down their show. This is all just musical pacing, no visual stuff covered in these particular maps. But I just find it really interesting, and I hope you do too. I know there's a ton here, and I'll actually put a link in the description if you just want to check out this spreadsheet. So the first thing I was kind of noticing looking at this was that first full impact that we tend for most groups. Tons of these groups are like right at 50 seconds, 40 to 50 seconds. And that's pretty consistent, but there's a second pattern that also happens a lot, which is like full impact. And I think saw more of that this year than previous years, is like doing a full impact right away, right out of the announcement. So like Tarpon Springs, Cedar Park, William Mason had more of that form. So either of those can certainly be effective. I think it actually is pretty rare to see a full impact around like 30 seconds. Where either you take enough time to like develop into it, or you just have that full impact right away. A big outlier there was Broken Arrow, which was really interesting. Their first full impact's not till 140 into their show, so they like really take these woodwind moments and allow it to develop, and certainly they can do that great. So a couple different ways that can work, but certainly the two main patterns there is just like seeing it's like the 50-second impact, or right away, like super duper quick build out of the announcement and then right into a full impact moment. The next thing, as you scroll down, you see all this yellow, which is ballads, right? This is all the light yellow I have as solos. And certainly seeing tons of bands really relying on soloists in their ballad to be really expressive and lyrical, and I think that's great. We do find that a lot of these, like this horn solo in Carmel's show, or this vocal solo in American Fork's show, that those tend to be like the longest single segment of the whole show. Same thing, Broken Arrow here, alto flute solo that's like 40 seconds long or something. And so a lot of those solo moments tend to be the longest moment of the whole show, and just kind of shows that they're really stretching out that time, allowing it to be much slower, and allowing the audience to kind of just sit in that moment. But we do notice the ballads tend to be just a handful of different elements. So they're not doing that for like 4 minutes straight. A lot of these groups have like solo. It's like solo, woodwinds, everybody. And we see that with a lot of the groups here. Like we see your kind of trombone solo, woodwinds, everybody in some combination. Euphonium solo, woodwinds, brass duet, kind of everybody. So lots of bands taking kind of that approach to their ballad. Solo, woodwinds, everybody. And then just one more thing that I find is interesting is the number of like red full impact moments right at the end, that tons of these groups are doing a bunch. Like Castle's kind of like a perfect example here. They have full impact, little woodwind feature, full impact, little woodwind feature, full impact, trombone small ensemble, battery pickups, full impact. So it's bands taking this opportunity to do a bunch of different full band moments with like little breaks. Maybe that allows them to restage, or just to keep the variety in the orchestration. But you will have a bunch of different full impact moments all right at the end there to really drive home the end of this show. And then the other thing I wanted to show is this finalist analysis. So I took all of the total amount of time that each element was featured and put it in the spreadsheet here. And I won't go through the whole thing. You can kind of look at it if you want to here, but you can see the time codes of like how long each element's featured. Just to keep it short, I did a correlation coefficient between score and the time in each element. And so this is not to say that these elements make the show score high or good or whatever, but there is a correlation with this particular year's finalists between the 97 to 88 scores, that there's the shows tend to be slightly longer. We got 0.4 correlation coefficient for the total show length. Impact moments and full band moments are pretty minor, kind of negligible there. But woodwind moments, 0.7 is the highest. So, and you can kind of see in the coloring here, if you look at the woodwind moments, the bands who are trying to get up into those upper 90s in their scores are definitely featuring their woodwinds more on average than some of the groups that are just trying to make the finals. Same thing with kind of brass featured moments, technical moments, and softer moments. And then we kind of see a little bit of the opposite in terms of percussion and solos. So some of the groups that were the most, that scored the very highest, didn't have quite as much in terms of percussion exposure and solo moments as compared to like full woodwind choir or full brass choir moments. Anyway, so I'm not saying that woodwinds automatically make you score high, but bands that have amazing woodwind sections and feature them a lot do great. And of course, because those performers are really strong. So anyway, I hope you find that as interesting as I do. And I'll put a link in the description to these spreadsheets if you're interested in checking it out. Thanks.